everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Before we start, I'd like to introduce myself for a bit. My name is Don. I am from the Philippines, and I have been with Qdabra for over 2.5 years now. Mostly, I have been designing forms, doing some debug and testing, and working on support cases or tickets. So I will be your host for today. By the way, I would like to thank everyone for joining. So for today's webinar, we are going to discuss about how to handle attachments. And we are going to cover as much as we can about images and attachment types. And also, we are going to discuss uploading attachments to a SharePoint document library and converting the attachments into links. Before we proceed, I would like to emphasize that the focus of today's webinar is to understand the benefits of having a light form. Having a light form means that the processing will read fewer items. If it's reading fewer items, it means that the load time is expected to be better compared to the ones with larger files. So let's start by explaining the types of images. In InfoPath, there are different types or ways on how to add or attach an image into your form. It can be in a form of a link, an attachment, or it's embedded into the form. The first item that I would like to discuss about is the type of image that is just inserted into your view. This is what is commonly used. What this will do is that it will copy the image into your form template. Therefore, it is embedded and cannot be modified by any user except the form designer. Now, this type of approach is really good for offline forms or an email-based form, since the image will travel along with the form. However, the downside for this approach is that it creates duplicates of the images inside the form. This happens when you are reusing the image repeatedly. Let's say, for example, you have several views or pages, and all the pages has a header which has an image. There's a way to fix this though by modifying the XML lines inside the form and reuse just one image file. But that would require hacking into the form and modifying the manifest and XSL views, which I'll be showing you. Now I'm going to create a blank form here and use the insert picture approach and select an image here. Now right now we only have one image, but if I copy this image and insert another one here, right here below, the form is going to create a new copy of this form, which will become the duplicate. Now, if I save this, and export this XML into a folder, so I'm going to create a folder, a new folder here. Let's just name it source and click on OK. If we go to the location of that folder, you will see that there are two images here, but they are just one and the same. So this is the duplicate that I was just mentioning earlier. Now, in order for us to remove the duplicate here, we first must rename the XML line here in the XSL view. So we need to open this up using a text editor. In my case, I'm using Notepad++. I'm going to locate that section right there and rename this one with the original one. So what we should retain is this file right here. Oops, looks like we need to close this first before we save it. After saving, I guess we can now delete this one. And inside the manifest, we're going to perform almost the same thing. Open this in Notepad and locate the section where it's being called. So right here, the XSF file right here is calling the image that we don't need. So what we have to do here is remove this whole section and just use the initial image. So I'm going to save this one and close the editor. Now to open this up again after exporting as a source file, you need to right click on the manifest and click on design. We should now have two images here. We still have two images, but we are only using one copy of the image file inside the source files. So this is the way to remove the duplicate. Now moving on, we're going to discuss now is the second type of image type, which uses a picture control as a link. This is, by the way, the lightest among the four types of images. So this is what I would recommend for you to reuse. Now to add this type of control into your form, all you need to do is place your cursor to where you want the image placed and click on the picture control at the control section under the home button. After clicking the control, select as a link and click OK. If I click on OK here, so it just created a control right here. Now the first field that it created is where you can place the what you call the URL for the default value right there. So I was able to insert an image using a link to an image. The attribute here is where you can place the description or screen tip if you need to. We'll click OK and view the form. So as you can see, we were able to add the image with the description. Okay. Now, this type of approach is what I would recommend. This is lightweight, and users can change the image by replacing the link. However, this would require connectivity. If you do not have any connections to your network or to an internet, then you would not be able to view the image. The next type of image that I'll be discussing is a variation of the second one, which also uses the picture control, but instead of a link, it includes the image along with the XML or the form. So click on the picture here and select include in the form. Now this type of approach or image type will need a default data secondary source, which is this one right here. Now this source is an XML, and on form load we are setting the picture control, this field, to the value of the XML from the added default data secondary data source. Now it's a bit tricky to add an image using this approach. In order to set the default value, we would need to run the form in preview. Click on the control. Right now we already have an image here, but we can change that. Double click it and select an image. So I'm going to select one here. Okay, let's select this one. As you can see, the image has been updated, and now what we need to do in order to change the default data is save this as an XML. So I'm going to save that right here. After saving, I'm going to close this one and update the XML or the data connection here. So click on data connections and modify the data connection which uses the XML. And right here at the resource files button, select the XML which we have just saved. After doing so, browse through the data wizard connection and click close. Now don't forget to set the node of the picture control to the value from the XML if you haven't yet. Now let's click the file in preview. And as you can see, this is now the new default data for this XML. The last one uses, by the way, this third approach is similar to the first one. It's embedding the image into the form. It's hard to drag and drop and hard to set a default value, which I showed earlier. However, on the good side about this is that users can change the image, not just the form designer, as to whereas the first one is already almost permanent right there. Now the last one uses a rich text box, which is only available in filler mode. So now let's just first check if we are running the form in filler. Preview compatibility. So right now it's in browser. I'm going to set this in filler so that you would see the properties right here. So in filler mode, under the properties, you can see here that you will be able to embed the image by checking this checkbox. But if this form is not in filler mode, let's just again reset this to browser. You will notice that it has been changed. There's no way to embed the image into the form using if the form is for browser. Now again, this is not supported in the browser, and you cannot support the default value here. What do we mean by that? So it uses a rich text node right here, but the value here will not be an image. In order to insert an image here, you would need to run the form in preview, and let's just drag this right here, or copy and paste it right there. That would be the only way to add an image to a rich text box. You can also resize this if you wish. Let's just expand it a bit, making it smaller. Now, again, similar to the first approach, this embeds the image along with the form. So the lightest is still the second approach, which is what we would recommend. Okay, for the next topic, I'll be showing you that we can reduce the size of the form by using a special command that turns attachments into hyperlinks. And then we are going to submit the image into to the SharePoint document library, and then have that deleted within the form and return a link. So first, I'm going to open up the form, the filler form right here. Okay, so this filler form, if you click on the save button, you will notice that we are using a special command right here, save to SharePoint, and we are also specifying the location or the URL to where we want the item to be submitted, and we've also specified the XPath to the attachment file. You see, as you can see right here, we are able to retrieve the name of the link for the file that has been uploaded, and as well as the file name. So if we try this in preview, I'm going to select an image here, just a small one, and then save the file. After saving, what's going to happen is that the command is going to return as a link so that we can download the form or the image. Now, as you can see, the attachment has been deleted. But if we click on the hyperlink, it's going to open up the attachment that we have submitted. Now, this doesn't just only works for images. We can also attach documents, which is very good for reports. Now, we can attach one here, and as you can see, I am using a repeating table in order to add more items to the form. So let's say, for example, you want to attach a lot of form or a lot of documents. You can do so by using a table and then using the same command that we used from the initial example. We can still save the files to the SharePoint document library. Let's just wait for it to finish. So it's taking some time. So I'm just going to open up the document library to where we have submitted the attachments. So right here, these were submitted yesterday, so I'm going to set this to descending, and here you will notice that we were able to submit the ones we attached earlier. So this is the document library. In order to create one, you must proceed to the site contents and click on Add an App and select Document Library. Now you can name this document library to any name that you want, but you have to make sure that if you're going to use the command, you are specifying the correct library. Now let's check the previous form if we were able to submit them. As you can see, the attachments were deleted and we now have links to the attachments. Now what's happening is that we were able to save space since the items or the attachments are no longer with the XML, but rather we are having links to the items that we have just submitted. Now this approach also works in the browser, so it's browser enabled. Now this is just a quick show and tell that it's working in SharePoint 2013. So let's just open up a form here, and I've modified the form for a bit, but it's still using the same logic. So here we can attach whatever document we want. Let's save the file. And here again we have a link, and also for the multiple attachments, it will use the same logic. Let's add another document type, or rather a document, and save the file. There we go. Now for multiple attachments, best practice is to use a repeating section residing or within a non-repeating section. and this is the attachment control right here. Now, why am I suggesting to use this type of structure? It's because we need to have other nodes for the logic of the command. Here, it's going to return the name of the link and the file name. And for the submit logic, now since this has multiple rows, what I did here is I added a trigger logic here to trigger an upload node right here, and then it's going to upload each row using the same command earlier to and submit the file to the document library. What I would like to show you next is an XTP that we have here, which we call the Picture Perfect XTP. What's good about an XTP is that you can reuse this over and over again on existing forms. And I have one pre-configured form right here. So let's just open this up in design mode. Here you will notice that it uses a picture control as a link. Now, similar to the multiple attachments earlier, this will allow you to attach multiple images. Now, for images, what's good about this XTP is that it's going to have a thumbnail so that you will know which image was uploaded instead of a hyperlink. So let's just submit this one. Sample. And you can insert another one right here below. So what's good about this is that instead of a hyperlink is that you are able to see the thumbnail, and it allows you to zoom in on whatever you have uploaded to your SharePoint document library. So this XTP will be included in the webinar package. So I guess that wraps it up today, and I believe that there are some questions right here. Is it possible to adjust the size of the picture in the rich text control? For the rich text box control, if we run this in preview, and let's copy an image right here and post it there, you'll see that you will have some controls here that will allow you to resize the image. Next question is, are there links? Are the links coming from DBXL? The links earlier were submitted to, or the links that were generated are coming from the SharePoint document library that I have pre-created. So if we open up the previous form, which is this one, this submits to the SharePoint document library right here. Now, this is also possible for DBXL, and we have one right here, which is a DBXL form. So instead of uploading this to SharePoint, this uses the command save to DBXL and uses the data connection submit document. This submit document is a web service, a retrieve web service that is for DBXL right here, Qdabra web service, DBXL document service, ASMX. So yes, it is possible for DBXL if you want to submit files to DBXL or your SQL database. So if we try to attach one document here, let's just attach a small one and click on upload file. It's asking for my password. So this should just be short. So what we have here right now is the file name for the document and the link to the XML. So it's not returning the file itself, but it's first going to return the XML for the submitted data. Again. Now this is only happening because it's in preview and not in the browser. So it's downloading the XML right now. And it's taking quite some time. Okay, so the next question here is it bad to embed attachments in XML? Well, it's not really bad, but it is not best practice to do so. Why? Because it's making the form or the XML large, which is what we do not want. What we want to do is that we want to make our forms light so that the performance will not suffer. So is it bad to embed it? No, but it's not advisable. So here we have the attachment that we submitted earlier. So instead of downloading it directly, what it did was it opened up the XML, and from here you can save the attached document. So I guess that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at support@qdabra.com, and a webinar package will be sent to your emails shortly. And if you wish to view more webinars, please feel free to visit our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/Qdabra. So once again, thank you and have a great day.